If this is the first time listening to us, welcome.
Welcome to our podcast.
Today, what are we doing today, Jewel?
We are bringing the news to you guys because I feel like I watch the news and it's a bunch of bullshit. And then I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, hey, this happened today. Are they going to talk about it? Nope. And even to the freaking weather, it's not accurate. And let me just say, as I'm looking at it, this weather could not be going back and forth more than this.
Right.
It is sunshiny and birds chirping outside.
And they
right
loop it. And they repeat. And you're like, what happened, dude? You bored? Like, did you guys give up on being journalists? What is up with you?
Because it's always pushed the same. All the news places, you could be in every other area. And a lot of the main news, the local news will change. But the main news, it's the same thing over and over. So we're going to bring to you some news facts that we think are important.
Yes.
Or maybe you guys may find some of it may be comical. Some are serious. Some are, I guess, conspiracy like one of mine is, So, it's just going to be.
Well, let's first get Jules' community went down to the city of Portland, right?
Yes, there was a city council meeting. And people are invited to go, the public, and you could have joined in person, but if you couldn't join via in person, you can join. There's like two other ways that you just go through the city council website and you can figure it out. Also on that website, you can submit testimonies, live testimonies, so like ones that you want to read in person, and then also the testimonies that you could submit just online. And I believe there's a thing to try to schedule a meeting with some city council members. And I was like, all of the above. And I have gotten an email back before the city council meeting. They're like, oh yeah, it's pretty busy in this office of Ted Wheeler and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like you're giving everybody these excuses. So
yeah,
I feel like it was a good group of the people that I represent what I believe in and everything, and the groups that I follow. They went there, did such beautiful testimony after testimony after testimony about what has been going on in Gaza and the Palestinian people, and like how we can make a difference in that, and like presenting it and like what they can do. And I believe it was like 4 to 5 people spoke. And then they just went completely over them and was like, this weather we dealt with. And then even on top of the weather, they blatantly also ignored a lot of people's comments about shutting down a shelter.
Yes.
During those weather. So it was a lot of the community was angry because they weren't getting heard. They weren't getting listened. So I even have, and we can publish it on our Instagram or wherever, where my groups got loud and vocal. They're like, you're not saying anything about a ceasefire. Why aren't you talking about it? Like, they're trying to get them to say anything, and they wouldn't. And so then the meeting got cut off and they went to recess. So, what I would have to say to that is, for time and time again, we in these groups, we've tried to be peaceful. We've tried to do it the right way. We're not getting heard. We are the constituents. We are the people of this area. You're supposed to listen to us. We're supposed to be we're the people, right?
You got to start somewhere. You have to start within your local.
Yes.
To get anything done.
So, yes, it's a big, huge thing. We want the whole United States to be on board of this, but you need your local people to be on board to tell the bigger government to do something about what's going on. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like how our tax dollars are being spent. I don't like how much we're funding into a genocide that has been happening for over 75 years. And it's just...
And we can't even support our local residents within the United States.
Right.
So you have to think about that, you know.
And I think a lot of people, and I would have to say my group of generation, they say like we're woke or whatever you want to call us, but no, yeah, we're awake. We see the bullshit. That's the thing, is we see the bullshit and we're calling you out and you don't like it.
So let's talk about this. We did have weather. We did have some major historical weather that happened over here in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of people make fun of the way we are here.
How we react to the weather.
And it's not that, I mean, I really wish we got the snow. And what was coming down looked like salt pellets that was ice. It looked like it was snow, but it wasn't snow. And then you got a thin layer of wet, frozen rain on top of it. So it was slick. We had low temperatures for a long period of time. We were frozen for a while. During that time, Multnomah County and the city of Portland did an amazing job of trying to shelter those that were living on the streets. On Wednesday, not this last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, the Multnomah County shut down the warming shelters because the weather forecast was calling for it to get warmer. It didn't get warmer. So that's when idiocracy, you throw everything out. You pay attention to the weather. You don't just throw vulnerable people out onto the streets.
Well, and something that's irritating, and like we've said before, is that, bitching about it, being about it, the more knowledge is key. The more you get involved with things, the more knowledge you have. So for the people who say resources are there, talk to the people who are trying to get access to those resources and see what they say. And then say that again. Because it's not true.
So number one, sometimes let's pretend we're in a sports game. Do you follow it by the rule book, or do you start going, okay, somebody's there, let's just switch this up? Sometimes you have to switch it up, man. Sometimes you have to switch it up. Sometimes you can't. You have to throw the rule book out and
like we said before, protocol, you don't always have to go by protocol.
Right.
You go by looking at human fucking beings.
So now what you've done is you've thrown those people out on the street. What kind of trust do they have? Now you got to go back and try and regain that trust if they made it out. Now, I do know there were people that were homeless that had to go to their job, had to do all of these things, even though, because Kate, or what's her name? What's our governor? The governor.
Tina Kotek, or fucking tampon, fucking.
She didn't declare a state of emergency until Thursday. So
the other thing is going back to the resources and the way to get access to these is people will say, oh, they will allow people to be on the bus to transport them to and from. But for how long? How long were those buses open for?
No, they weren't. And
like
they
when
shut
did
down
they
Max.
exactly? So when did those things get shut down? So no, they didn't have access. They didn't have feasible things. And like, then I was talking about our personal community just the other day with my parents in the car, and I was like, do we have any facilities? Because I see it within my own area, and I'm not going to be super descriptive, but like in our area, I see the effects of what's happening. And then I'm like, do these humans have a place or a resource to go to that is within our range? And the closest place for those people would be Oregon City. There's an Oregon City place called Father's Heart, and you can go there to get resources, but it's limited. It's a small facility, and there's only one within
and then the other is across the way. And what did we find out? Something caught on fire, right?
Yes, right next to it.
So we have that. We also have those that have businesses within Portland, Oregon, that due to the damage, it started melting and it started flooding. It started, trees were going into places. We had no heat, no power.
Well, and people don't take to accountability. They always want to sit there and talk shit about the houseless and people that are living on the street, all this. But you don't know everybody's situation and how they got there and everything like that. And we have had tremendously bad weather within these past few years, within the wind, the freezing, the ice, everything. And I would say probably, 2 to 3 years ago, we had a really, really bad one, and then repeat in some areas a really, really bad one again this year. How do you think people live if their house are destroyed by a tree or electrical fire or bursted pipe? Like, the endless things happen. And I've heard it time and time again where these natural disasters happen and they don't get supported enough. They don't get enough help. And they're like, Red Cross. Call Red Cross. Red Cross can suck a fucking... They are not the best resource to try to get help from, because they do not. They do the bare minimum.
So let's talk about these businesses that got damaged. So they went to go, hey, file it through the insurance companies, the insurance companies that you pay every single month, that you're required to, pay. Guess what? Nay, not all covered. So some of those businesses have to close down now. They can't go on. They got to go look for another job. Some businesses didn't close down, and their employers, the employees, started going to work, and guess what happened? I know for a fact on one had to go have surgery and had to lay out for hours, waiting for 911, waiting for emergency response to get there, and had to lay there for like 2 hours, got to the hospital. The hospital couldn't do surgery. The hospital's power went out. All of this was happening. So those of you that are making fun of the Pacific Northwest, try dealing with what we're dealing with,
Well, and into that, kind of like a big reality check, that little taste of those incidences is what people in Gaza have been dealing with for over hundreds of days now, like 3-4 months. So keep that in the back of your mind. As we dealt with it for maybe a week, 2 weeks, they're enduring this still continuously every day. And wet, cold weather. No hospitals to help them.
Right.
Just to remind you and put that into reality too. Because yes, it does equally suck. It does suck. And it's just like, I don't know.
So, in a nutshell, we need to be holding, number one, Multnomah County, the city of Portland, accountable for...
What's our word of the year? Accountability.
Accountability. So we need to hold them accountable. How do you hold them accountable? So what was done should piss everybody off. It is your right to speak. These are your representatives.
Well,
they should be listening. Guess what? You need to go to these people and get pissed off.
We have family members that are older than we are, who volunteer all the time. They volunteer a lot of their time. And they see it time and time again. The lack of volunteering and support from community, for one, and the lack of support and help they are getting from the city and county. And so my mom and I, after we heard one of our family situations, we're like, Ted, get the fuck out there and start washing some fucking dishes. Bitch about it, be about it. If you act like you care. The
Multnomah County chairperson, get the fuck out there. Hey, you gonna kick somebody out on the street in a warming shelter? You get out there. You get out there.
Feel what it feels like.
Feel what it feels like. Hey, you don't want to go help your community? You get out there and you wash the dishes. You feed them.
I want people to sit back and also look at the privilege that you have every day that others don't have, and what you can do to contribute to your community if you have the means to do it. If you have the time, if you do have the finances. I know there's so many rich fucking bitches up in here in Portland. If you have the time and money, do it. Quit being greedy. And quit staring at something and be like, this is the problem. Go help, support community, hear these human stories, and then realize that it is the lack of support and help that they are getting from the counties and the city.
And those of you that suffered during the storm with your business damages, not being able to get to the job sites, not being able to get to your job, not being able to do anything. Those businesses that suffered, a couple of the owners had to shut their businesses down. You can file with the state, so that way it's documented, so there is change. Yes. Now, we do know that those insurance companies are not covering it. They're like, nope, we know you pay your insurance. We know you're forced to have these insurance, but guess what? That's not covered.
But so, as a reminder, as I was doing taxes this year, there is a little thing that if you have a natural disaster happen to your business or your home, there's supposed to be something they can do to help.
Yes, but not immediately.
Right. It's not an immediate thing.
Yeah.
And you have to think of that with these people. Is like they're not getting immediate help. Maybe they are told you can stay at this hotel for such and such time and we'll cover it. But that's only so long. And I'm just telling you, I'm going to tell you this now. We did have a really bad storm years ago. There are people who are still fixing their homes from that storm years ago. And then now they're getting fucking trifecta effect.
Mm-hmm. We had one area that we have relatives in that got shut down for a while. They're still dealing with it.
There's still a lot of damage done. Luckily, I think they have power and stuff back. Maybe not every single person, because there's people who got affected more so than others. But I'm very thankful that our family was okay through it all and made it through. But we've had that scary feeling too, and it's not a good feeling. And to know that there's people who we escaped it this year, but to have others that have had to deal with,
knock on wood,
but to have others that to have others that deal with it and struggle with that, that's not a good feeling. It's something that you never wish upon anybody because it's scary.
So yeah. So Jewel actually needs to document something really quickly.
Yeah, because I haven't put it on record.
Yeah, she hasn't put it on record
so
yet.
So this is this conspiracy type thing, I guess?
And she's and just for the record, right now, she said this a while ago.
I did, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been saying this. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the beginning. I, from a young age, I've been fuck government too, but I've always... I thought that we, as end of the world stuff, because I feel like when I was born, end of the world stuff was really present. End of the world was happening every other fucking year. So I was like, okay, realistically, how could the world end? Then I started learning about space, atmosphere, within our solar system, all this stuff. And then with more so of what they've learned, I'm like, oh my God, something's bigger than us we're just gonna collide and squish and kaboom, kablust, right? That was my original theory, but it's shortened up because I have a new theory as I've gotten older. So I've also gotten more into my environmentally stuff, right? You guys can call me whatever, greenie or freaking wacko, whatever, but I love our planet and I want to take care of it. And it is a living organism. Look it the fuck up. It's a living organism and we're killing it. Anywho, so, you know, pay attention to the ocean, all that shit, but pay attention to how Earth is rejecting what we are doing to it. So, with that being said, your cement, the people when they're doing the roads and all this stuff, especially within, I'm going to talk about my area and Portland and all of this area. They're calling them potholes, and then we do have some sinkholes that have been happening. So, my new theory, guys.
Let's hear Jules' new theory.
You go back to I remember it for some reason being in elementary school when you learned about like the layers of the earth and stuff like that and what layers it has, right? And so, you know, we all learned at some point the earth's crust, that center core of us, is fucking hotter than the sun. And I'm like, oh, how are we? First of all, now I'm thinking about it, it's like, how the fuck are we living on that? We're living on a hot thing. It's hot in there, dude. So, you know, you got these sinkholes, these potholes, all this stuff, right? And so now my new fear is that we're slowly sinking. Also, to back my theory up, Portland, and there's some dumbass people who are like dipping their fucking feet in it, but Portland, there's specifically on a street, and I think they even have more now. It's like hot lava, cement melting shit. And it's like boiling. And I'm like, yep, that's for sure. So I'll lay it out. Sinkholes, potholes, whatever you want to call them, they're going to get deeper, deeper, bigger. We're sinking, bro. We're sinking fucking ship. Just big. And I don't know. I think us near water will probably go first, the outer sides, you know. We're just going to start sinking in, go into the Earth's crust, and we're going to evaporate and be gone.
That is Jules' theory as of right now.
But, guys, it's getting super backed up. My family was just here the other day, and they were like, oh, over by the, what is it, the rhododendron garden? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, there's a big, huge pothole there. And they were describing it, and, like, my other family member was like, oh, it's, like, yay big, like, showing a little. And they were like, no. Like, the whole side of the street's taken out. And I'm like, oh, my fucking God. Now I'm curious. I want to know what it looks like, but I'm also scared to go over there because I don't want to go in it. Dude, we had this last week or week before, there was a car who went into a sinkhole.
Yep.
They drove into a sinkhole it's just...
The earth was like, let me open up. Let me just squish this car.
Yeah, so, you know...
And it was like tilted. It was like in there.
I would just... Please?
It was like in there, man. It was like the jaws of life, man.
It's nuts, guys. But it's like, that's my thing. But honestly, I feel like there was ways like we could have like kept this from happening. But we're so greedy that we keep wanting more.
So how many of you believe in Jules' theory? Let us know that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a poll.
Or it could go like this, guys. It could go like, we don't have enough skilled labor to actually attend to our roads. You know, we have, I mean, hey, we know from experience that these people are out there digging up the road, throwing back the stuff, and
so
it's a crazy, like, maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I'm not fully educated on it.
So I'm just going to point out there, I don't care whatever fucking religion you follow. I don't judge you on that. Nothing. You don't have to have a religion. You can just believe in, I believe in the universe, okay? You believe in whatever the fuck you want to believe in. But I think we could all equally believe and know that Earth is nature, right? Like greenery, trees. We fucking destroyed it. Put houses and roads and horrible shit. Like factories and just such unnecessary shit. Me and my partner were just talking about it, right? Honestly, we talk about it almost every day. And if you took away all the extra bullshit, right? Like the extra foods that are already pre-made at the store. But back in the day, if you were provided those basic things, like let's say flour, or you just taught these skills, but we're not. I don't know. I feel like this will be another news thing, but we're going to have to like dive deep into what was before and how it worked, because honestly, I just feel like with what we're doing and how greedy and how much we keep wanting more and how much we keep pulling from the earth is running out of resources. I want to know what we did back then, because we had just beautiful nature and we just built and destroyed it. Built roads, bridges, and everything.
And I kind of want to know, because example of certain areas that I know of growing up were underwater. They were like swamps. And now there's homes there.
Right.
And I think about it and I'm like, okay, so they did some sort of shit to get that to work, right?
It's so weird.
But I remember to the T, and there's like just homes all through there, and I'm just like, that's fucking crazy, man. But the other thing that I also want to bring attention to is you have land, you have abandoned buildings, you have condemned buildings, you have all of these things that are happening that are hazardous, right? And we have like 3 neighbors in Portland suing the city of Portland because they threw a temporary shelter that a building should have been torn down, condemned within 5 years, and they put homeless people in there. And so you got to think about like the area, what you did to it, why is it toxic? Why do we have to tear this down? Why? And the concerning thing is you put homeless people in there. Come on.
Well, and what I got to say, and going back to you saying about the like work people like not working on the roads, all that kind of stuff, that's going along with every single fucking field. We are getting built into a society that everything and everybody else is supposed to do everything for us. So you pay somebody to do this. You pay everybody to do this. The more and more I've learned about it, my great fucking ancestors, or whoever the fuck I'm talking about, they did them damn selves. They plumbed themselves. They fucking did the shit. They did it all themselves. They built their own homes. They did this stuff. Within the transition of going from generation to generation to generation, we've unlearned that. And it has bugged me, because I feel like if we have stuck with that, we'd somewhat be okay. We'd have skills that are kind of like basic needs skills that we don't have to pay people to do it. But we have been built into the society of where we're like, oh, we need this machine to do this for us because we don't want to do it. I mean, I don't want to. There's some people who don't have the capability. There are disabled people, 100%. I know some very willing and capable people who are just...
And while Jill just brought that up, I would like to recognize Jesse Sponberg. Jesse Sponberg, self-sufficient.
And I have to say, Jesse, if you're listening to this, I always credit you for a really amazing idea and thing that you actually put into place and had work for some time. And I always share it with people because I really think it's an idea that could still... I mean, I think in theory, if it was continued on when you started it, I think things would be different now. But you know what I'm talking about, and you creating a place and home for people who are houseless and seeing them for who they are and not seeing them like they're just a piece of trash. They're human. They have lives worth living. Very important.
Yeah, and one thing that you don't know about is, Jesse's been clean and sober for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I give him credit because he worked with a lot of these people, hey.
I would say people don't want to credit it enough, but lived experience and the words and things that these human beings say, you got to listen to them. You got to hear them out. You got to see what works, what doesn't work.
Yep.
And I just have to say that Jesse, specifically Jesse Sponberg, had in my head one of the best ideas to have these human beings who are struggling be brought into society in a very good, positive way. And again, looking at them like they are human beings with lives worth living, and not just like, oh, you're too far gone, screw it, whatever. And like they say hurtful words and terms about these people, and it bugs the fuck out of me. So, see, PTSD. That's what you get for that.
What was that?
It was just the fridge.
Oh my gosh.
We'll keep that in there because it's natural response, trauma response. Sorry. We're real, okay?
Just keeping it real. We also want to give a shout out to one of our listeners.
Kelly.
Kelly.
You know who you are.
Kelly. Maybe we'll do a short and tag you in this, Kelly.
I really loved hearing the whole breakdown of how that all happened with the connection of everything with one of my mutual friends. And it was just really cool.
So we're going to get you a package together, right?
Yes.
You haven't done that
stuff.
yet.
Nope, but it's going to have a bunch of fun stuff. It's going to have some merch in there. It's going to have some stickers. A bunch of good stuff. But I have one more thing that I have to say for news-wise. And this is going out to my fellow parents. So anybody who are parents or who work with children, per se. We just had a great opportunity at one of our parent meetings for one of my child's schools. And his speech therapist got to present and talk about a great, amazing things. And one thing that I would love to just get out there is that if you work with children, or even if you have children who have friends of friends, whatever, if there's interaction with children, if you notice that some children struggle more than others within, it could be sensory, or it could be just being around groups or speech, whatever it may be. There was a long list of great tools, but I would say I would really love if all the parents out there could learn more about neurodivergent children.
Yes.
And how they operate and how their brains work. Because I'm seeing it too much where there's comments being said about my children or other children that I really care about, and just children in general, that is so unnecessary. And I feel like if people were more educated and learning about all children, not just one way of learning, that'd be really great, because if we can build a better community and society for these kids, I think that would be great.
Yes, 100%.
But that's all I wanted to add,
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you know who Richard Simmons is?
Yes.
He was, this is not news. He's not been in the public eye for a long time. People thought he was missing. People thought, his care, the lady at the house had hold him hostage, and cops had to go to the house. It was crazy, right? He just withdrew from the public eye for
the celebrity status
for a while, and the reason why is because he doesn't want. He was bullied, for in high school and growing up as a child, and they would do really bad things, and everybody knows who Richard Simmons is. And then when he became in the public eye, and he's sweating to the oldies and running around, even and other people would make fun of him, and that really hurt him.
And just so you know, majority of these celebrities don't have a lot to nitpick. They're human beings, but they will sit there and find things to tear these people down.
Oh yeah.
And so I 100% get why he was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Well, I think he ended up having a knee injury, and he didn't want to be remembered by that. But at the same time, you got to think, he was so private, and people made fun of him as a child. But you got to know what he did and the impact that he made on a lot of people. And, you know, getting them to get up, you know, exercising and stuff like that. Anyways, I just thought I would bring that to people's attention because that still continues today.
Yeah.
So what can we do as a community? We can get out there and have our voices heard, right? We need to be getting involved with our community.
If you're bitching about it, be about it. Put action behind your words.
Hold those accountable. Hold those accountable.
Within everything, in your workplace, in your health.
Oh, yeah, we have some breaking news.
And just in the world. Like, you need to put your happiness at the forefront.
Before we get off of here, let's talk about those employers that are mistreating those peeps at work, okay? So here's the thing. Your backbone of your business is your employees. Those that are actually working, actually out there doing the job, okay? Now, if you've put so much upon somebody of an individual, and then you just kind of like, oh yeah, you're irreplaceable.
Well, for example, getting more into that, if you pile on so much stress and anxiety onto one person,
and you're a company who's like,
we strive in positivity and mental health and fuck off.
So there are a couple things that you can do within your if you are overworked, you can reach out to local areas if you feel like you're so overworked. You're not getting, you know, if a company is doing something completely wrong.
Business malpractice.
There are things that you can report that to, too. Just so you know. Keeping you updated right here on What the F Is Ladylike. So, now we can wrap it up. I forgot about that. Do you have anything to add?
I know, I'm like trying to make sure that we're like all good and caught up with all the news stuff.
I mean, there's too much news, right? There's too much news. But we have to... Also, women are not here for, you know, the whistling, the hey baby, the other thing. Just add that in there.
I think at this point, any of our previous listeners, if you're new, you guys know how I feel about men. But if you're new, I fucking hate men. My child, my dad, and my partner are the only exception, and my brother. Yeah. Everybody else can fuck off. Fucking disgusting. Gross.
Gross.
But I want to add onto my biggest thing in my agenda of every day right now is what I don't think I added was the only country to stick up for the Palestinian people was South Africa.
We need all of the
I'm just going to let that sit there and sink in with you for a second. And also within the same, I think, week when this was happening, United States and Israel were the only countries to vote to say that food and water is not a basic human right. I was like, wow, okay, so you don't need to eat and have water to live.
And now we know why we're in the crisis that we're in, right?
Yeah. So I'm just going to say permanent ceasefire. Stop fucking killing people.
Oh, yeah, stop. We don't need that, man. Violence is not the answer.
Let people fucking live.
Yeah.
Let people be independent. There's Also, news. They're still trying to go after our abortion rights.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah, so we just had the anniversary of Roe versus Wade. And
the sad thing is there's things being changed in other states that are not good. So please
how
keep
many
up.
women are just fucking just irate besides us?
Yeah, keep up with that shit. I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I'm fucking top of the notch pissed because, like, I have children. And
I feel like no man has the right to even talk about this kind of situation, but they do.
I have another fun fact that is really bullshit that I found out, guys, for women. Just so you know. Okay? I believe it was August of 2023. Yeah, you already know where I'm going with this.
This is important, guys.
I almost forgot about it, Mom.
This is important. All you women, wait, listen up. Guys,
I was taken back and I didn't believe it, and I looked it up and it was true. 2020, August of 2023 was the first time ever that scientists have tested period products with real period blood. And when I'm saying that, the others, they weren't even using other blood. It was like other shit. Like not even from humans. So this is 2023 is the first time they've used real period blood. I'm just saying, we've bled out a lot. There's so much blood. We could donate that shit.
Yep.
I'm sure there's people that are willing to donate to the cause. Why? What the fuck? I sent that to a couple of my peeps and they were like, that's disappointing. And then I'm like, yeah. How long have we been... No offense, Mom, but I'm pretty sure my mom was the beginning of products of creation of like tampons, pads, all the creations of...
Well, no, they were there before me, but I mean, I'm not that fucking old. I'm old, but I'm not that fucking old.
But
Jesus,
when
Jill.
when you put the connection together, but you realize how they don't work.
Yeah, they don't work.
And you're like, oh, I get it now because you're not using real fucking period blood.
Yeah, I mean, Luna even came in over here saying, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's like...
She's over here like, what the fuck, guys?
She's like, I remember she had a little period. Didn't she? She had a little period. I got scared, I think. Oh my God, no. My kid, oh my God, when Emma was born.
Yeah.
When my kid was born.
Yeah. It was scary.
There was blood. And they were like, yeah, because of the hormones and like all this stuff, they could have a little period blood. I was like, what the fuck? I was freaking out. I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, she's bleeding out of her hoo-ha. She's not even old enough. Oh, there were so many other things that went south with things. But yeah, anyways, fun fact, didn't use period blood on period products.
Now let that set in, you know? Let it set in.
This is again why I said I'm trying to really, really involved with stuff so that way my children don't get fucked. I'm like, I can steer them in the right direction because this shit's a fucking nightmare, guys.
Nightmare.
But we will keep you up to date on other daily news.
Friends with the monster.
I feel like that's our government.
Yeah.
We're conjoined with a monster.
We are.
Oh my God, and they're trying to raise the fucking retirement age. Okay, raise the retirement age. Get the fucking old retirement. They're retired then.
Yeah, they need to get
Our
out.
government people are retired. Get them out.
Get them out, man. Like, we need to somehow write in. But we can't because those fuckers are in there. You know, so it's like we're never going to get it passed.
No,
but
I was told we won't get any big changes until or unless a civil war breaks out. That means, like, we're fighting each other within our country.
Oh, snap.
And I feel like we're in the works of that.
I mean, let's have a raise of hands. How many people how many people feel that there's too many old people up in that bitch?
You guys heard me. I know there's old people who are probably going to be pissed at me. They don't need to be driving either.
Yeah. I mean, let's just...
It just makes it scary out there.
I mean, has there always been old people up in that bitch?
Guys. You look on either side, and this is the thing. I don't like either side, Republican, Democrat. There's other peeps, just so you know. There's other options, just so you know. They just give you the two. They don't make sense. You hear them talk, and you're like, what'd you say?
No. I feel like I feel like I've made myself so much dumber by listening to this bullshit, Joel.
No, I have. I sent her stuff, and she's like, "You've made me feel stupid." And I was like, "I had to send. If I had to see it, you had to see it." But just so you know,
This is that's one. It's one of them. The other one is like out there. Let's build a dome. What the fuck, dude?
we're not Simpsons. That's.
I can't even, guys. I can't even. I don't know what to do, man.
But I'm just declaring this now too. Who I'm voting for president and vice president is Claudia De La Cruz and Corina. They are literally for the people. They are marching those streets right now, advocating for human beings.
Getting arrested.
I was so proud of her because she was wrongfully arrested. But anyways, yeah, Claudia. And if you go, I can give the links. I'm going to send it to my mom. You can go and vote for them to be able to go have a debate and make it onto your voters pamphlet.
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
Let's go. So one thing is, let's hold those that are accountable. That's one. Number 2, you need to get involved with your community.
Can't bitch about it unless you be about it.
Yep.
I don't want to hear anybody say anything and be like, well, did you do this? Did you email your people?
Did you do that?
Did you call them?
Hey, you concerned about the homeless? Did you get out there and get involved? You know, are you concerned about...
Are you making sure their shelters aren't being shut down?
Yeah. Are you making sure of that? Are you making sure, if you're concerned about addicts on the streets, what are you doing about it? Because I know what I did. You know, so you can't just say something. Because here's the thing. Our politicians, our county, our city have destroyed our fucking town.
Yeah, if you can see, what they're doing isn't working. So, and again, if you've been here before, I've said this before, there's more of us people than there are of people in power.
I mean, if we took everybody out of their homes, how many people live here? Get the fuck out there and get on there. What kind of difference could we make? I
equally say that to parents as well. Equally get out and involved with your kids' lives. Don't be like, oh, I didn't know that. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Be involved. Care. For humans, your family, for your community, for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a better future. We
have shows coming up that are going to be really great coming up here for you. Juicy. If we don't record, it's because we are working on that show. So I just want to give you a heads up on that because we'll give a little thing. We got a special guest. We do have a special guest.
And we're going to be interviewing them and talking to them about some really good stuff. So
yeah,
I'm just giving you that.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So look forward to that. So if we're not in here popping in, it's just because we're working on that show. So we always say be kind, but
you got to push it further.
You got to push it further these days, and we have to actually get out there and get involved.
Be present, be involved. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody wants change.
Don't just sit down on your chair or your couch on your phone and bitch about it. Literally.
I mean, we could take a little Richard Simmons in us. Get up! Get up!
I feel like some artists that you should look at that are pissed. Macklemore, Kehlani. And I'm just going to say one of these people that you guys are probably going to be like, what? Jennifer Garner. Her and her children, I fucking love them. Jennifer Garner was one who went viral because she took off her own sweater, grabbed shoes, clothes, and clothed a houseless person. Literally was waving someone random down and was like, what size shoe do you wear? Take them off and give them to them. I'll give you money for it.
Yep.
Like, whatever. So there's that situation, but they are so outspoken on so many important issues that are going on. So they don't get enough credit. And you look at her and you're like, oh, she's so sweet and innocent. No, she's a little spitfire. She's the one who wrote Go the Fuck to Sleep, too.
So that old saying, there's no I in team. There's no I in team. We're not going to get this shit done, guys. with just one person.
We need everybody.
We need it all. We need all involvement. So until next time, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jewel.
Peace. Our show is produced by us. Our theme song is by Come Back Karma. Don't forget to like and subscribe.